Focus on me. Focus on me. Focus on me. Hey. There we go. What the heck? Oh, okay. Hey there everyone, it's Moose and thank you so much for joining me back here today. We're going to do my March wrap up and my May TBR maybe. I really haven't thought about May. Oh my goodness, I've just been so busy. I'm like in this mindset where I have to get past these 2 weeks and then I can focus on May. But I am in the process of moving, I am in the process of packing, I'm in the process of getting ready to graduate. All of this happens in a couple weeks, so I'm in a very time frame area right now. Even still though, I did manage to read a good number of books in April. Only one of them was a pleasure book though, and it was an audio book, but we'll get to that. So in the month of April, I read a total of 7 books. 6 out of the 7 were for school, but I read them regardless, so I am going to talk about them very quickly. I don't want this video to be long, but I do think it is worth mentioning. I read a lot more this month than I thought I had, so let's just get into it. The first book I want to talk about is actually 3 books in one. It's Tales by the City by Armistead Maupin. So this is books 1, 2, and 3. There are 9 of these books, but we only had to read the first 3 for the class that I'm taking. It's Tales from the City, More Tales from the City, and Further Tales of the City. That's the 3 that are in this book. You can see all of my dog tags for, well, please focus on me. Why are we having this problem today? You can kind of see like where all of my dog tagged pages are. That's just like stuff I wanted to remember for the paper I'm writing on this book. I used to be a sticky note kind of person whenever I would, take notes for a book that I read for a class, but like I say, I'm graduating. Like I say, I'm graduating here, and that's my husband calling me, but I'm going to finish this real quick. I'm graduating here in like 2 weeks, so I've just got lazy and I just want it to be done. This book, in case you wanted to know, all these 3 books deals with characters in San Francisco in like the early 70s and 80s, I think it is the time range. There's a lot of stuff in here about homosexuality and There's a lot of stuff in here about homosexuality and like the gay culture in early San Francisco. So if that's something that interests you, maybe check it out. Like I say, there are 9 books within this series. I only read the first 3. Take from that what you will. I also read the narrative of William W. Brown, A Fugitive Slave. I am very much into like the Civil War era here in America. My husband will quit texting me and calling me. Okay, goodness, okay. Anyways, I'm very much into the Civil War era here in American history. I think it's very interesting, and this is just a narrative of a fugitive slave. It talks about his life in slavery. It talks about how he got out of that life. He essentially ran away. And ran to the north into Canada to escape slavery. So if you're into that kind of thing, maybe check this out. It's a really quick read. I read it in like an hour or 2. Yeah, it's not hard at all. Check it out. I'm also taking a class on Mary Karr this semester, so I read 2 of her books for this class. The first one is Sinner's Welcome. It is a poetry book by her, and it also has an afterword of like, it's like a essay type thing. We didn't read that for the class. We just read the poetry, but I did enjoy it for the most part. I'm not really a poetry person. That's just, I don't care much for it, but this book was good. It's called Sinner's Welcome. In case I didn't say that already, I can't remember if I did or not, but it's good. It's a lot of like religious poetry that also relates back to her life. So if you're going to read this, I would suggest looking up a quick summary about her life. Because if you know a little bit about her life, you would get some of the references she makes within her poetry. Last book I want to talk about in physical format that I read for school is Mary Karr's memoir, Cherry. We had to read this for the class as well. It was a fairly quick read. It's 260 some pages, but it's a very thin book. Again, you can see my little dog tags in there just because I didn't feel like using sticky notes. It is a memoir. If you're into memoirs, I would suggest checking it out. This book is all about her childhood and kind of finding who she is and finding herself and coming to the realization that she doesn't really like where she's at. And so she decides to move. That's how the book ends, is she decides to move. The moving transition doesn't happen within this book. It's just the build up to that. Overall, I liked it. It was good. The last book I read this month, I never know what to say when it comes to audiobooks. I don't know. But I did finish successfully my first audiobook, and it was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I like this book. It's a classic. I'm into classics anyways. Let me just preface with that. So it is like a contemporary type of book. It focuses a lot on romance and like societal structure, like this person shouldn't marry below their class and all that kind of stuff. So if you're into that kind of stuff, like Jane Eyre is kind of reminiscent of this, I would say. This book doesn't have like any supernatural elements, I wouldn't say. Like Wuthering Heights, I like Wuthering Heights if you're into classics. I like the Bronte sisters just in general. That doesn't have anything to do with Pride and Prejudice, but I do enjoy them, so. But yeah, I did listen to Pride and Prejudice. I listened to it on audiobooks.com. They have an app for Apple. I don't really know about Android, but they do have an app for Apple if you want to download that app. I listened to it for free on there, which is awesome. I'm all about saving money, and so I listened to it for free, and they have a bunch of other classics on there as well if you're into classics but you don't really want to pay to listen to them. I know that they had Frankenstein, maybe. I know they have Alice in Wonderland. There's just a bunch of stuff. You can just scroll through it and see what they have, but I did listen to Pride and Prejudice on there for free, so that's good. So yeah, those are the books I read or listened to in April. For May, my goal of course is 2 books. That's my goal every month. I definitely met my goal this month. Even though it wasn't pleasure reading, I still read 7 books, which is awesome for me. So for May, I started Dracula on audiobook. I want to finish that in May, and in my previous Wrap Up TBR video, I had the Witcher series on my TBRs, and I got through 60-ish pages of the first book of the Witcher series, so I want to finish that book. I don't have it with me. I already have my books packed up. Like I say, I'm moving soon, so I have them packed up, but I want to finish that one and maybe start the second one. That is my goal. Hopefully May will not be as busy. Hopefully. So yeah, that's my April wrap up and my March TBR. I'm very happy with April. Very optimistic for May, especially since I'm graduating and I'm not going to have to worry about school or work or anything like that. So optimistic. Let's see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe down below. Let me know what you read last month. Let me know what you're reading this month. Be back here next time, guys. See ya! I got a burp. Tiny burp.